Just as you thought the bricks and minifigs scandal was dying off, it looks like Lego have released some sort of statement. Now, if you are new around here, please do subscribe. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, so if we could do that, it's much appreciated. Leave a like on the video, hype the video as it spreads it far and wide, and let's get into what Lego said. So first, we're gonna have a quick roundup of everything that's going on. Basically, this whole bricks and minifigs scandal is about a bricks and minifigs store that took on a consignment from a guy called Brian Mansell of $200,000 worth of Lego, even though the value is being much discussed at the moment. They basically wanted to sell the store, it come and changed hands, and then the Lego collection vanished, was stolen, and bricks and minifigures have never given Brian his money or his Lego back. Now, a YouTuber called Reckless Ben made a bunch of videos, and loads of other content creators have made a bunch of videos, and basically now there's lawsuits in place to silence everyone. We were meant to be getting a part 3 of Reckless Ben's videos, but unfortunately he can't release that due to the ongoing lawsuit. So the community took it into their own hands and started doing some digging, and found loads of information about the families and everyone involved, but they also contacted Lego. Now, yes, the email I'm about to show you could be fake, but honestly, it does sound like Lego themselves would put something like this out just to do any damage control. Because at the end of the day, we've seen everyone boycotting bricks and minifigs, but a lot of people are also boycotting Lego because they've made no statement yet. This does just look like a PR statement that they've given to every employee in case they are asked about this. But honestly, in my opinion, they don't need to get involved, but there is more to it than meets the eye. But before we get into that statement in that email, we are going to discuss the upcoming agreement between Lego and bricks and minifigs to do with retail sets. Now, Lego were coming up with some sort of deal to send retail sets to bricks and minifigs, and bricks and minifigs were going to get them at a wholesale price so they can make money on them. Basically a win-win for both companies. But obviously then this whole scandal happened, and honestly, I don't think that relationship will go any further than what is already in place. I don't think that deal will go through, and I don't think Lego will even want to entertain working with bricks and minifigs, but they won't put a statement out in my opinion. I think what we're about to see now is the closest we'll ever get to an official statement. And like I said, it could be fake, but honestly, it looks kind of real. So this email is based on someone reaching out asking Lego about the bricks and minifigs situation, and this is what they said. Thank you for reaching out to us and sharing your thoughts. We're aware of the situation and understand why it may raise concerns from our fans who care about the Lego community. As bricks and minifigs operates independently, and because this is a legal matter, we're unable to provide more information. Your feedback is highly appreciated, and we're grateful you've taken the time to get in touch. We want to make sure we're doing a good job for you, so you'll always find a link to our 4-question survey in the emails. Please tell us how we did today. Kind regards, Natasha from the Lego customer service. Now, there's a few things in there we need to read between the lines on. They're obviously very aware of the situation. I'd be very surprised if they wasn't, and they obviously say that in that statement. And they're understanding the concerns it has for the Lego community, and obviously it's spread beyond that now. It's gone far and wide. It is absolutely massive. It's mainstream, and we have got big YouTubers making a lot of in-depth video. They also go on to say, as bricks and minifigs operates independently. Now that is huge because they are separating themselves from bricks and minifigs, and they want no association with them. And then they go on to say, because this is a legal matter, they are unable to provide more information. Now, the fact that this is a legal matter, Lego do not want to get involved in that at all, as they are not named in any lawsuit. If they were to get involved, it would financially take up a lot of money, it would take up a lot of time, and it would ruin their reputation if they didn't speak out against bricks and minifigs like the community want them to. Because if they came out with just some generic statement or actually backing bricks and minifigs until this lawsuit's over, then they would just lose a lot of their good reputation. Now, yes, we can go on about Lego prices, price per piece, how many sets they release, but ultimately Lego is massive and does not need any bad reputation right now. They just don't need any of this, and they can drop bricks and minifigs from any deals they had in place just like that. So ultimately it doesn't make sense in my opinion for them to come out, but it does make sense to have a PR response like that in case people do ask questions. Now, I'd love to walk into my store on July the 1st and ask these guys all about it that work there, what they think about it, but honestly they're just going to give me a generic response like that. Also, I don't really want to put them in that position because ultimately it has nothing to do with them. I'm also in the UK, so it doesn't even have anything to do with this country. But yeah, it seems like there is some sort of things going on in the background at Lego. They're obviously very aware of it as it has gone so big now. I think even the GoFundMe disappeared for a while because I think bricks and minifigures were trying to claim that in their lawsuit to get all the money from that, which is absolutely disgusting, by the way. That was from the community. That is from people like yourself and me who just want to support the family who has been done wrong and support Ben in his legal fight against Bricks and Minifigs. It has nothing to do with Bricks and Minifigs. How they can even have that in a lawsuit is beyond disgusting in my opinion. But yeah, they've tried to do that, but I do think the GoFundMe is now back up. It'd be very unfortunate if Bricks and Minifigs did get hold of that money from the GoFundMe, because ultimately it was their wrongdoing that started that GoFundMe, so we could all help out towards Brian's Lego collection. Because ultimately this all boils down to how they've stolen off a sick man who needed it for medical bill. And yes, the CEO has come out and said that he wants to make Brian whole and stuff like that, but why is he named in the lawsuit? Drop all these lawsuits and honestly just do the right thing. You've lost your business, you've damaged the reputation of that business so much that, you know, normal franchisee owners are getting all the backlash from it as well. You will never recover from this, and I think he knows that, and I think that's why he's going down this lawsuit route, just to see if he can get anything from this. If anything else does happen, I will bring you another video. Obviously it's been a bit quiet for a few days, so yeah, this is the first sort of update we've had in a while. But if you want to stay up to date with it, please make sure you subscribe, turn on channel notifications, leave a like, drop a hype. It does spread the video out further, which is a massive help. And yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments about Lego's statement towards this.
So again, yeah, I think the most important thing is to ensure that we are protecting our franchisees, and that the safety of our stores is our #1 priority. The safety of our franchisees, the customers, their families, everything. That's our #1 priority. And so ensuring that people are held accountable for making false statements and like taking advantage of other people's circumstances in this matter. That's why we've taken the legal action that we have, is to hold people accountable. But at the same time, we're also willing to sit down and work through things and make sure that we can just take anything that is something that we can work together on. I think that will help us resolve any issues that we have. And if we can make sure that people know that we're not going to sacrifice the safety of our franchise locations, then that will, I think, help now and in the future. Well, our #1 priority in this entire situation is and has been to ensure that anybody, including Mr. Mansell and his family, they are treated fairly. And so as we've gone through the documents and as we've looked at everything, our #1 priority right now is to ensure that he gets made whole. With the underreporting that took place and the documents that we now have that shows what actually went on, we know that we have a responsibility to work with him to make sure he does get made whole. And so we're working towards that, and we're hoping that he'll be able to come to the table. We're excited to be able to make that happen. And so we want to make sure that everybody knows that we're working diligently to get him to the table so that we can get that taken care of.